Our Highline Voices, 106.5 KQWZ LPFM.
Connecting Highline and our region.
History, cultural heritage, art, performances, contemporary pop culture.
We collect, preserve, and tell the stories of the Highline region and its people.
We want to embrace our differences and similarities.
We want to extend our mission outside the walls of the museum. Our Highline Voices, 106.5 KQWZ LPFM.
Hi everyone, this is Nancy from the Highline Heritage Museum and welcome back. As always, I'm super excited to have the opportunity to share everyone's stories, and today we have Tim, which I'm super excited. And why are we doing this? We're doing this because we just want to tell everyone's stories, because we want to cultivate a sense of unity, community, that we actually connect with each other, and that just get to know who are we, and then hopefully you feel welcome and connect with people that way too. So I'm going to let Tim introduce himself. The basic question is, who is he? And then we'll take it from there. So before we start, I just want to say thank you, Tim, for allowing us to do this. I'm excited to have this conversation with you and to just share a little bit more about what community means to you and how your business represent that. So don't worry.
Big questions there. No. Who am I and what is community?
Well, you can say all the way from like why are you here in Burien and why it's important to you, your business, and also it's not just you, it's also your wife, it's also you, the team that you work with, and so and overall, like what are your values and why it's important to you. And so I know it sounds really scary, super simple, but at the end of the day, it's all about letting people know who are you, and then just get a little glimpse behind not just the title of your business, but who is behind that? Who is the one who, why, like why are we doing the things that we do? So I'm gonna let yourself introduce yourself, and okay. just okay. But yeah, thank you for the opportunity to do this.
Well, my name is Tim Dalton, and my wife and I own the FASTSIGNs here in Burien. We just had our 1-year anniversary of ownership back in June. So we're still fresh in it and getting to know the community. Before that, I was a consultant for FASTSIGNs corporate for about 8 years.
Okay.
And I was supporting the local center as a consultant, come in a few times a year to help out with anything from the books to pricing to vendor help, whatever it might be. And over the pandemic, the previous owners, they decided they wanted to kind of make a change up, and the opportunity came for my wife and I to kind of shift roles and take over the ownership position. So we jumped on that, and for the longest time I was kind of coaching everybody else how to run their business, and now I get to figure out if I actually know what I'm talking about. So.
It's like quite different, isn't it?
It's very different.
It is. One thing is advising, again, a model, a template, or kind of a vision of what it should look like. Completely different is doing it.
Well, I think the biggest thing I've learned is the bandwidth that people, or at least myself, has now that I'm in this position where before I'd come in to work with somebody for a whole day, and I'd have my agenda of things that I would think that they would need based on the numbers, and then you'd meet with them, and like I'd have, all right, so at the end of the day, I'd have my checklist, and I'd hear the top 6 things that you need to do, from my perspective. And now I realize it's like I might have bandwidth to do one, and like if you remind me about it again. So
how different is it? And I know you're the one driving the car, you're the one who's guiding this conversation, so I'm not going to be asking you things that you aren't comfortable with. No, but it's more about you tapping into a consultant versus facing the storm basis, versus like confronting issues that there are a lot of them are unexpected. I mean, you might have this idea that A, B, C, D, but then it comes all the way up to X, and it's like, wait a second, I was not even planning that it was going to happen. And so how different it is for you from, the position that you just shared to the realities of ownership of business. And I'm sure that many people who run businesses feels that, or the ones who honestly don't trust the idea of cultural sector or business sector or nonprofit sector. Or at the end of the day, when you're in front of the storm, doesn't matter what title you're in, you are in front of it.
Mhm.
And you know, I don't know. What you think of that difference between consultant work versus being an owner?
Well, we've been very fortunate for the past year where we haven't had too many crazy storms that have smacked us yet. But like as a consultant, I was supporting at times up to 80 different locations and all of their teams and whatever challenges that might happen. So you would be hit with unique challenges left and right, and like, hey, how would you deal with this? Hey, this just happened. What are my options? How do I do? I'd never come across, and then most of the
Yeah.
time, like I wouldn't have come across that either. And so I'm doing research, but it's detached, and like the stress level wasn't there. So like you could enter it very to a degree, like you care about these people, you're cold to it. So you don't have all the other buzz going around your head about the people you work with and you care about and everything else. So it was so much easier just to kind of go in there and just try and say, all right, so this is the situation as I see it, and I can lay this out. And so now you're put in that position where I'm supposed to be the expert consultant for so long. So like now, one, I feel awkward asking for help by anybody because I'm supposed to know what I'm talking about, which so quickly you realize you know nothing. But it's also you're trying to solve that problem while you've got a team around you looking for help for other issues that oh well, this got delayed. How do we deal with that and whatever? And someone so wants a rush and
Yeah.
whatever else might pop up. So it's really like how do you prioritize that list on an ongoing basis throughout the day? And I think that's the biggest change because it was so much easier to kind of prioritize yourself and compartmentalize what you're working on. And right now it's more of you just kind of jump in
Go with it.
and you figure it out.
Yeah, I think that I have never been a consultant, but I've been a University of Washington teacher and exhibit designs for 2 years. And I remember telling my students, this is what I do versus this is what best practices are. And I will say, well, from us as a teacher, I'll come up with like, this is a template. This is what you should be doing. Gosh, once I became a director, that is like a completely different ball game. It's just something you cannot teach. It's something you cannot expect or even plan around because it's a lot of situations that you were not prepared for, and you just have to, swallow through it, and you just go with it, and just ride through the tsunami or the storm or the day. And it is true, a lot of business owners that I relate to you in many ways. We are a museum, but it's still a business in one way or another. We're still trying to survive. We're still trying to provide a good product that hopefully people will see and hopefully people will appreciate it. But it is a something that we serve, and in the term serving, what that means is different for everyone. But in a business sector, it is it's the terminology is treated differently. But at the end of the day, it comes to the same thing. You're just trying to survive the day. You're still trying to cope and troubleshoot the issues that you face every single day. Um, and it's great that you and your wife are together in resolving issues. But at the end of the day, it's also like, it's a different role, it's a different hat. How do you cope with that? Tell us more about the business that you do. No, everyone knows it's FASTSIGNs. What products do you work with?
Well, basically anything graphic related, anything we're kind of in the visual communication business is how we like to look at it. So anytime you're trying to visually communicate, whether that's a vehicle graphic as you're driving down the road, a safety sign, whether you're trying to educate your employees about safe practices, whatever that might be, or drive more business towards you. Anything in that world, we are designing, producing, consulting on, and that's what we do. So like in short, if you can put a sticker on it, we're in that game. But beyond that, like we really, I think where we strive is when you're not sure exactly what to do, but you've got the challenge, and then we can come in and give ideas. That's where I think we really shine.
Yes, I've already been witnessed, not just me, but everyone in the museum, and maybe you. If you're driven by the museum, you'll see these exterior photos outside the building. I think that's an example of what he's referring. Is that I remember meeting with you, and it's like, okay, we got this concept. How are we gonna do it? And you're like, oh yeah, we'll do it. And I always admire that of you and your team, and it's just the idea of there's no limitations. It's always gonna be a but. It's always gonna be a I don't know, but the idea that you can offer that vision. Not everyone can do that. And it's something that I appreciate you and your business and your team so much is the ability to provide that vision that you don't limit people saying, I'm sorry, we cannot do that. Oh, that might be tricky. Oh, it's like seeing the negative side of things. Not negative, I would say, like more like it's not doable. I'm not wired like that. I can tell you in a day the no's that I get. I can tell you the pushback and the punches and the kicks that I get every day. Um, and so it's really refreshing when I am working with someone or a business or a partnership or a collaboration where they don't see those limits, when they don't, those blocks are not a reason why not to do it. And so I remember that we already have two beautiful projects that we work on, and I was able to identify, oh, there's a common thread with those two projects. One was with the outside photos and what it took to make them, but then also the exhibit at the SeaTac Airport that is located right now. If you visit the SeaTac Airport, there is one exhibit from the Sky Bridge #1, and you'll see this beautiful three-dimensional 1949 photos, and him and his team did it so beautifully. And when you walk into that space, as you walking in, you realize that it's not just a flat photo; that is a three-dimensional, and it's a really special effect to that. Um, my brain is a little wacky
Oh
at
no.
times.
Well, I mean, just kind of following up on what you're saying about it, I think one, the reason we can do that is because of our team. Like I've got such a strong team backing me. So I know that if we can think of it, we can do it. It's just a matter of figuring out how. So um on that job, I was just rambling my mouth and you took it as as gold and ran with it yourself, which is great. And then when you came back to us and said, "All right, this is a go," I was like, "Well, what did I tell you we were going to do?"
No, and I was able,
Uh,
not that I was able to see it, but I just, because of how unique, I hope I don't come across in the wrong way, but because how unique and how refreshing it is to hear a yes before a no. I knew that you were still in that creative process. I knew that you were still like truly processing it. And like, okay, one thing is that yes, you had the confidence that we can make it.
mhm,
And that's what I love about your business. You're saying, yes, we can do it. I don't know how, but
mhm.
we'll do it. And then later on, it comes to, okay, now let's really work on this puzzle. What are the pieces that we need to make it happen? And so I was able to witness the process. And that's how refreshing your business is about, is the idea of saying yes. Um, despite of how crazy the ideas are, so far we
Mm,
presented two, and I know we're going to be presenting a lot more to you.
yeah.
So we're going to be throwing more things at you. But I really, really, really appreciate that mindset of yes before no. It's possible versus no, it's not possible. Giving opportunities versus giving limitations. And so thank you for doing that. And I know that it's not just you, it's your team, it's your wife, it's everyone behind you who's making this possible. And so
Well, it 100% is, and like so often we jump in on things. It's like, okay, so we just how we so we know we can do this and this ourselves, but who else can we partner with to get the other parts done? And that's I would say that's one kind of benefit that I have from being a consultant for so long is I've seen, you know, hundreds of different fast science locations all over the country and Canada with different operations, different teams, different equipment, different skill sets, different vendors, and whatever come across all these unique challenges themselves and how they've come across and how they've resolved them. And come up with solutions for their customers. And having seen all that, I know that anything is like that. And then having a background in the arts, like seeing sculptures and installations and everything else, like just seeing all this in reality, like it just you if you can think it, you can make it. It's just a matter of figuring out how.
How to
So,
make it.
so
Now you got me curious. You said arts. What do you mean by that? Because I always known your background as producing things in, like you say, in the visual field. But what do you mean by arts? I mean, do you have any training on art? Or
Yeah, so
okay,
my wife and I, we met competing against each other for scholarships in high school for scholarships to the Kansas City Art Institute. So we met back in, I was 17, I think she was 18 at the time. And then we uh, got put into the same foundations class together. So the first semester, they kind of like keep you all in the same class and try to dump all the things you think you know about art out of your head and like give you a foundation to build upon. And then my wife went, she double majored in art history and sculpture. And then I had an interdisciplinary arts, which was basically call it sculpture is the way I
okay.
ran with it. And then throughout undergrad, the way I would make some extra money on the side I would document everybody's sculptures for them so that they'd have portfolios to apply for grants and fellowships and things like
I
that.
don't know.
And so then I realized that taking the photos of the work was
Basic.
like I could never, like if you told me to go out and take photos, like they'd be the most generic, boring things you'd ever think of. But if I could make a sculpture or an installation and take photos of that, the photos were better than the sculpture, the photos were better than the installation, and that's how like I would work. So then I got my graduate degree in photography and film from Virginia Commonwealth.
That's I love photography and I love art, and one thing that I see intertwining with everything that you're saying from the past, the present, and in the way that you work with your team and your wife is the creative side. You have that creative artistic side and you have a vision. So like for you to create an artistic piece or for you to produce a product in your business, you had to have that vision. You had to have that mindset. Like there are not a lot of people that say, well, you know what, I cannot visualize what you're talking about. I need an schematic, I need an example, I need something. You're describing it. And I granted, as you can tell, I have a funny accent and my the way I articulate things may not be as clean, but there's specific people. And with you, one of those few, new you team and Corey, the same is, I'll tell you, I want a three-dimensional, exhibit. Oh yeah, I see an example like that. It's like this and this and this and this and this. And I was there and I was doing this product and I was like, oh, that's so refreshing. It's like, okay, finally, it's just being able to visualize a vision. I mean, to vocalize a vision and then somebody else actually seeing what is it that I'm trying to say or do. Um, and I hope everyone in the community can value that. I mean, it's not just consuming a product, it's not just buying a service, but it's a mission, the vision, and who is behind those products that I think makes the experience a lot more meaningful. I know that when we're talking about the outside photos of the building and making it as a representation of the community and then everyone really seeing themselves reflecting somehow. I'm not saying all of them, but it's just somehow. It's like, I think I might connect with that one. But you right away, one thing that I was so thankful is that you were able to capture those values of community. Why are we doing this? Not everyone gets that.
Mhm.
I got pushback. Yeah, I got a lot of pushback from people who would not take those photos as a representation of the community because they want to see it. Um, Maybe I'm a little bit too straightforward in saying this, but there were the bigger group out there in the community. They really like the product we do, but then we also have a pushback on people that is like, well, they are not community members. They are 100% over the the last 30 years. And so for me not to convince you of that, for me not to make an argument of that, or for me not to say, you know what, why are we doing you got it right away without like, well, this is community. There was as simple, straightforward as that, instead of me like making almost like a lawyer, like a defense lawyer, like making my statement in my case and building it. This is why it's important. With you and your team, there was no such thing. It was just a straightforward ABC and go.
Oh, such powerful images to work with too.
What are community values to you? What does that mean to you when I say those things? So what is it that you do that you connect with the community, or why you want to serve the community?
Yeah, I guess I'm still learning that as I go here. So we're like I've lived in the area my wife and I lived down in Tacoma, but lived in Washington for now about 10 years, and this has been the first year I've actually lived in Washington because I've been flying to a different city every other week for forever. So like this is the first real summer I've experienced here, and first full
Wow.
cycle going around. So that's been amazing, and I guess community really has been meaning to me more than anything is just collaboration with people, because I've been so used to just going to a different location, meeting or working with somebody for one day out of the year, whatever it might be, a couple days out of the year, and then going to somewhere else and somewhere else and somewhere else. And now I finally get to know my team, know their families, know my customers, my neighbors, everybody else, and like I feel like we're just now kind of getting to that point where I'm starting to really feel it, and I feel like I'm my best self when I'm collaborating,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what this business that we have offers me. And like everything's a collaboration, right? Like
Yeah.
certainly we've got some people that they know exactly what they want and they've got a file, and we'll make it for them, that's no problem. But often, more times than not, people aren't sure what to get, and that's where we can get in and like really kind of understand their business, their challenges, and them in a way, and their teams and their customers. And like it's such a unique way to experience an area. So like that's really what I'm kind of learning as I go here, and it's it's so rewarding. Like that is just definitely a privilege to be in that position where we can uh, have that opportunity.
I remember when we were installing the Bigfoot exhibit, you had so many ideas. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do that. And once again, it was so refreshing because it takes a creative mind to think about all those different things. Now, from saying it to doing it is a big difference. And that's where a lot of, money, funding, time, hence all that comes in play. But in your case, it was no your own limitations. It was not your mind saying, no, this is not doable. Oh, this is just blank, no coming up with ideas. And I'm really appreciative. And I know that as we continue community values, even in the chamber, Seattle Sasa Chamber of Commerce, hi everyone. Just connecting through that way, or connecting to a project, or connecting to just being even neighbors. It is such a joy to do that. And that's what it feels kind of soothing, like as business owners or as a nonprofit director, so as someone who's facing the storms on a daily basis, it is nice to find people that kind of gets it a little bit when it comes to, that's what we're talking about earlier, the line between serving organizations. But then you, like, for example, you were saying about Corey, now you get to see the families, you get to know them better, and then the investment or protective element or the protectiveness of what you feel with your team is gets stronger because now you know them, now you're working with them, now you're united together, and so the sense of protectiveness increases, and it's a fierce feeling of it's not just your business, it's also your team, and it's also how you care for all the different elements. I'm talking a lot, so just jump
No,
in.
no,
Jump
no.
in.
Like I'm totally with you there, and it also goes to clients and community too. Like you really start to take um, participation and and ownership of to to be part of it. Like, and it's hard not to. I've just been kind of struck by doing whether it's the Chamber or Discover Burien, just how many awesome people are out there in the community doing their all through there's so many nonprofits that are just trying to elevate and kind of bring this community up. And it's like I have this trouble all the time because all you want to do is help and participate and jump in. But it's really humbling to see how many people put all their energies just into this area, and everybody needs a sign, so we get to like kind of touch on that, and then I think the longer we're here, the more we'll get to participate with it. But it's kind of crazy to have been living in this area for this long and not knowing everything that's going on behind the scenes, and like just driving past on the highway or whatever, going on to eat and or to or from the hotel to the airport or wherever it might be. But it is like I don't know if I can go to any of those meetings without finding somebody else to connect with and just kind of being taken by everything that they're doing and all the good that they're bringing to the community. So it's really exciting. Like there's so much good energy out there, and I'm just grateful that we got a seat at the table.
No, there's yes, this community has so many beautiful sides, and there's that's one of the joys that I get when I'm waking up in the morning, like why are we doing the work that we do? And it's just reaffirming that there's just so many good people out there and so many people who wants to have that sense of belonging and helping and support and community and those values. I overuse the term values because I think that's the direction, I mean, like we are not doing things just for the sake of doing it. There's some type of direction. To me, those are the values, meaning you're compassionate, you're caring, you're respectful, you want the community to be better, sense of belonging, and so on. And so it's something fundamentally inside of you that guides you to a direction. And to me, those are the values and what you're the real you, what is driving you to do things. I'm really appreciative for your team and your work. I'm super respectful of what you do. You and I had the joy to meeting your wife too, and it was so supportive. I remember the first time I met her, we were doing the signs outside, and I think she came in to give you lunch. I was like, oh, that's so cool. It's just like just give you a meal when you were working in a sunny, hot day in no summer, but it was sunny. And it was that supportive. And then I see the team and all of them so welcoming Corey and everyone else. And it's just like, oh, that's so it is great to come to a business when there's a smile on it. It's not like, okay, this is how much you owe me and move on. And it is really refreshing to be able to be welcome with a smile and to be open-minded to hear my wacky ideas, and not just mine, but also my team. And then instead of saying no, or you say yes, but it will cost more money, and you still can do that. But I'm saying it is, you are not putting so many block roads that will prevent things from happening. And so that's that. I think I asked you so many times to do this radio interview, and it took us a while to make it happen to today. So I'm just glad that it's happening. That is from that, I think it's from a sense of gratitude, a sense of recognizing that it's not just you alone, but it's your team, and it's also the willingness and wanting to do the community work, and then the creative mindset that you guys have is so cool. And so whoever is listening to this, they are not that far away from us. So where are you located?
We are one block north of you.
Yeah, but for people that don't know, what exactly is it? What is it, Wes?
Would you shame me if I don't know my address at the run of my business?
No, I do the same thing.
All right,
No, I don't know this.
So now time for a shout out for my wife that does all of our bills in the county.
Okay.
And
Okay.
deals with all that. I will tell. I've got a business card in my wallet, hopefully.
I've done the same thing where I don't know the number. I always say we are in the corner of Ambam and 152nd.
Yeah.
So there are times that my brain freezes up and I don't know the actual number. My
My
memory.
brain's not freezing. I just have
No,
not put
mine
this
is.
in.
Okay, it feels good that I'm not the only one who, when an application or where are you located exactly?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, okay, you have the business card. Where
All
are you
right.
located?
So we are at 922 Southwest 151st Street, which is just one block north of here, right behind Elmer's pub.
We're like really close to 152nd and Ambam. So if you look at that corner, then you will be able to locate them too.
Across the street from Burien Cares. So if you're in the area and you just want to take a dog for a walk and then come out over and say hi, that's exactly where we are.
Yeah, no. Well, believe it or not, we already been in this interview for a while, even though it feels like it had just started a few minutes ago. So we have around 5 minutes to go to. I
Okay.
just want to give you the heads up for that. Anything else that you would like to share about the work that you do?
Oh gosh, I don't.
That or why or your wife or your team, like anything else that you will. I mean, this is an opportunity for people to get to know you and your business, and there's actually a face behind a business. It's not
Mhm.
just a sign. It
Mhm.
is more than that. And this is an opportunity for you to express who are you and as a business or as a community member or as anything.
Mhm. Well, gosh, I don't want to just give a commercial for us, but
You should.
I guess um, obviously we would always love to come out and take a look at your facility and collaborate with you. That's a given, but just kind of what we were talking about before, like we've been working hard trying to define what our core values as a company are. Like we were at the West Seattle Chamber the other day, and a couple of Nucor Steel's leads were there, and they're talking about their core values and how they build their strong team. And Rachel and I have been thinking about that quite a bit, and trying to define what those values, how do we want to establish that foundation to kind of grow our team up, because we're quite small as far as Fast Signs is considered, and we're growing quickly, but we want to make sure that we grow into the company we want to grow and not kind of just hire out of necessity
Yeah.
and kind of morph into something that we might not want to be. So we've been defining those values, and I think there's a few of them that just are key to us, and it's maintaining that calm. Like every day is going to bring challenges, and I tell this to anybody that I hire or just coach through anything. It's just like you're going to make a mistake. Like everything we make is custom. There's nothing off the shelf that we sell. Like it's all custom designed, custom built, custom installed. So there's something's going to go wrong. So like how do we deal with those mistakes? Because they're going to happen every day, and we can't let those stumble. We can't take out, even if you're just holding those frustrations in yourself, your teammates feel it. So like that is one of our core values, is to maintain your calm and find a way as a team to kind of like, yeah, almost celebrate it. Like, yes, we're going to make mistakes, but we're gonna learn from them, and we're not going to make that same one again. That doesn't mean there's not another 10 waiting for us later, but
Yeah.
so like I think that's key. And then the other thing that's just been so exciting for me is to just come in and learn from my team. Like they have taught me so much,
Yeah.
and uh, that is it's just exciting to realize that I've been working with this team for so long, and I'm still just every day learning something new from them. And so as we are going, like we're actively recruiting two positions right now, but as we're growing, that's our challenge, is to make sure that, are these people that we're considering to bring on, do they fit that mold, and do they kind of keep us in that mindset and that kind of that strength that we have right now, and do they build upon that, as opposed to um, you know checking the box that, hey, we've got that position filled. And I would say that's probably the most challenging thing I found about this is, if you don't have that right person, what are you saying yes to delay it, to get that right person down the road? And that's where we're at right now. And I wouldn't change a thing with what we're doing, but I guess if I was going to give any plug, if you know any creative people that are looking to be in an industry where you just are constantly learning and collaborating with people, that is I mean, I've been doing this since since 2000, and again, not a day goes by that I'm not learning something new or just being surprised by the people that are around me. And it's like yes, it's certainly challenging, but it is definitely rewarding.
I can say values like integrity. I can say values as creative or flexible, adaptable. No, a roadblock. Like for me, that's some of the values that jumps in my head when I think of you and your business. But I think that that's one of the questions that I'm always constantly pacing myself is like I can have a person who is super skilled and really spot on what we need physically and to make be productive, but then lack of the heart or lack of those values or lack of finding a meaning as to why we're doing the work that we do. And then it's hard. It's hard to say is that person the right person when there's no emotional connection, when there's no those cultivating those values. And it is, I mean, and we were talking earlier about, the roles that we play and the ownership that we take in the work that we do. And it's not just about us in a personal gain perspective, but it's for the better good of organizations, the better good of the people who are supporting us in our team and the weight that comes with it. And it's not that easy.
No, I would say that's one thing that I'm try to stay as mindful as I can about it is like we're spending our lives together.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like this is our life. This is what it is. And I want that to be a positive environment and lifting everybody up. I don't want anybody plateauing. I want everybody getting better together.
Yeah.
And I want it to be just a positive, fun place to be. And that's like my biggest, again, challenge or thing that weighs on me the most is making sure that anybody else I introduce that to, it's not just me. I could live with, some friction or whatever else, but I don't want to disrupt anything for the team.
There is an article that I saw the other day where it shows, not an article, something, I forgot what it was exactly, but it says, when you're a kid, you're with your family until you're 18 and 20 years, right? But then once you become an adult, you spend 40 years with your coworkers.
Mhm.
You don't spend as much time with your parents, and you don't spend as much time with your kids. Your kids is only around 18 years. And so you spend more time and double the time with your coworkers that you do with your own kids or parents. And so the importance of being with people that align with you and then they see it and then they care. We in a culture, there's productivity is the most priority thing, meaning like it has to be productive, it has to make sense. You have to invest on time and money and staff and energy and you being tired and so on. But at the end of the day, it is true. When you think about how you block your life, the time that you invest with people, it's scary or not, we spend way more.
Yeah.
And the only other person that we spend the closest to is with a spouse, if we're lucky enough that we like them enough to keep them with us for the long, long time. But if you get a divorce, you still spend more time with your coworkers than you do with anyone in your life. And so a question for everyone, an invitation for everyone. What is more important to you? Is values? What makes you feel good? What makes you feel like there's a meaning? Or productivity? That at times is great. It gives you a stability in your business and things like that. But then there's no soul, there's no heart, there's no spark, there's no fire behind it. So it's a question for everyone. What's more important? But well, that's a question to you. But at the end of the day, this is his interview. This is about his story and this is about his business and the team that he works with. Just want to say thank you.
Hey, I want to just right back at you. You were the first person that really kind of welcomed me into this community when we took over. Because I just popped in. I think Rachel was maybe Rachel was with me, or maybe she wasn't. I can't remember. Was it just me?
I think that some of my volunteers told me that the year came in. But it took me a while to actually, and then I think I met you in the lobby.
Yeah, you gave me a little tour, thinking I was just trying to weasel my way in to get a free tour. but we were looking for photos to do a mural in our center, and I saw their Gunther's Tower image, and I had no idea what that was about, so I just came over here to see if I could learn something.
Yeah.
And after a brief conversation, you really kind of just immediately folded me in and made me feel it was the first time that was within like the first month of us working here, and I was still just trying to figure out whatever, and that's when I felt community for the first time here, and it felt so good, and I just feel like you've been helping grow on that ever since, so thank you back.
I'm passionate. Many people sees me and they don't even know me, but they think, oh, well, she's an immigrant. Oh, well, she whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm so passionate about community. I'm passionate about connection and belonging and making sense of things. I really, for some of you who are close to me, you know why I'm that way. It's just passionate about life and how fragile things can happen and how fragile life is. And so I'm very committed to making sense. And so thank you for that comment. I really appreciate it. And remember, community is not just the people that we see or we identify with, but it's also the ones that are the most vulnerable, or the ones that they don't fit in, or the ones that they're still trying to make sense of why are they here. And then so for all those little ones, for all the vulnerable communities, and for the ones that business, community sectors, whatever. And I hope that you got a little sense of who he is and how his business and how he's running his business and him and his team and how just a very beautiful, pleasant, and joyful experience has been to create things for all of you to consume. It's a many different factor relationship. It is, the museum or business, but it's also you being engaging with the work that we do. So thank you for allowing us to do that work too, and hopefully we'll share more new projects. Gosh, there's so many things that I would like to do, and hopefully, with funding allowing us,
We'll get something fun going.
We'll continue to feed this and things. So thank you, bye everyone, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Our Highline Voices, 106.5 KQWZ LP FM. We envision ourselves sitting at a round table where no one is the leader and stories are heard respectfully, regardless of gender, age, sexual orientation, disabilities, or ethnicity. Our mission is we collect, preserve, and tell the stories of the Highline region and its people. We want to extend our mission outside the walls of the museum. Our Highline Voices represents us all, honoring our past, celebrating our present, and uniting to cultivate our future. This project allows us to reach out to demographics who might be unable to visit the museum. People with disabilities, low-income families, people who don't trust museums, and more. In partnership, we are launching a locally programmed new radio station at the museum, featuring recorded and live Highline's heritage, history, culture, arts, and more. Are you interested in sharing your story? Email director@highlinemuseum.org.